I'm gonna kill my computer when this cork goes everywhere.
Cover your eyes.
Life is full of work and stress. Parenting can be a mess. Being a woman is hard enough without adding on that extra stuff. We'll cover topics of every kind. Helpful resources we will find. We'll even drink a bottle of wine. Join us. It will be a real good time. Yep.
You loosened it up for me.
That's exactly what happened.
Look, he's on the inside too.
Oh my god. Put it on the camera. That's amazing.
He's on the inside too.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Nikki.
And welcome to Working Mom's Wine, where we drink a bottle of wine.
And whine about our crazy, busy, stressful working mom lives while trying to pull together resources and information to help you and us along the way.
That's right. And it is episode 2 of Mickey Mouse March.
Yes!
Today
Mickey.
we have 19 Crimes, Snoop Cali Gold.
Oh, that's good.
And this might have been a thing with the previous wines, and I just didn't know. But apparently, you can scan the QR thing, and there's some kind of thing that Snoop has made. Before I do that, I'm going to describe the wine real quick. Snoop's bringing the rhymes through augmented reality with the world's first wrapping wine label. Literally, ha ha ha. Cali Gold features floral and citrus aromas, subtle nuttiness, that's like me, and toast. I don't know if my nuttiness is subtle. The flavors are round and rich with tropical fruit, lemon, and green apples, all coming to a long, crisp citrus finish. Pop bottles Cali style. Point your phone at a bottle of Cali Gold. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Look at the placement between those glasses. That's funny. I am all about the era of augmented reality wine bottles. This is great. Like, we had the monsters. Now we get Snoop rapping. This is amazing. I'm going to have to show this to Brandon later.
It's pretty entertaining.
Look, I got earrings to match the unicorn ears that I borrowed from my daughter.
I should have brought mine because Ari has the same pair and we could have matched.
Nice.
And I have the same spirit jersey. Like, we could have went all out here.
And I'm pretty sure I have a second pair of ears somewhere, although I can't remember what they are. But I only know...
You have Mulan ears.
Well, yeah. Those I have. But don't I have other ears?
I don't know.
But since Mulan is all I have unpacked...
Oh, yeah. We've got the Jasmine ears. Remember, I got the Belle ones from Etsy, and you got the
I was
Aladdin
like, I
ones?
have to have Aladdin ones.
I don't know if you guys can see mine light up. These are the Beauty and the Beast anniversary ears. Courtesy of my mom and dad.
Today we're going to talk about Magic Kingdom. Just to recap, we are spending Mickey Mouse March talking about each park, a little bit of the history, what we like about the parks. We did Epcot last week, so this week will be the Magic Kingdom. And obviously this is the one that, like, when you hear Disney World, you think Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
Like, I did not know for the longest time that Disney World and Magic Kingdom were technically different because Disney World is all of it. You just think Magic Kingdom. Walt had already constructed the original Disneyland in California, but he kept running into this issue of limited space. Yeah. So things were being built around Disneyland, and when he wanted to expand, he couldn't. Yep. Boo. So because he was bordered by other businesses and attractions that limited his ability to do what he wanted in California, he started looking at other areas to build a Disney World park. So after a lot of planning and searching for the perfect place, they opened the Disney World Magic Kingdom Park on October 1st of 1971.
Yeah. They say that Disneyland is the park for locals, for people who grew up with the park.
Yeah.
And Disney World is the park for tourists because it's bigger. There's more to do there, and people travel there more as opposed to Disneyland, which has a lot more locals visiting with their passes and stuff. So interesting.
Yeah.
And there's a couple good Disney people when you're looking at Disney history. The Mouselets on social media, they're pretty fun. And one of them really likes to talk about the abandoned Disney things.
Oh, I love those.
So that's pretty interesting stuff for park history. But if you want to know more about in-depth history for rides and things, she's more focused on Disneyland than World. But Disney Cicerone, it's Cicerone. She's a Disney historian, and she does podcasts and TikTok and YouTube and stuff. So she's a great one to look into if you want to know more about this kind of like background history stuff.
Yeah. If you like things that are like gone and done too. I like Defunct Land. They did a lot of videos during COVID, and they basically were like, we're going to cover old attractions, and each time we cover an attraction, what we're doing is putting it in our like park in our head, basically. So in our Defunct Land park, now we're adding this attraction and that attraction and this show and whatever. And they don't just do Disney, but if you're into the whole abandoned parks and abandoned rides thing, great one.
So the amount of nostalgia generated by Magic Kingdom is tangible. I was just saying, I think in our last podcast, that it's the one that holds the most nostalgia for me.
Yeah.
It's why I take 2 days there every time, because there's just so much to do and see. And it's one of those parks where like, once you've done something there, like you want to repeat it every time you go.
True.
And then you get mad if you miss one of those things.
And you get mad when they take a ride away.
Yeah.
Even if they are putting something else in that's
one.
more relevant. And yes, you like it. Can't we just keep them all? You have so many acres, Disney.
Just expand. Don't rebuild.
Make another park if you have to. We'll pay for it.
So from the vanilla smells that they pump through the park to the rides that we all remember from our childhood, the Magic Kingdom is where you go, not only for the kids, but for yourself. Even though rides like Snow White have been phased out, there are still many relics present from our time as children, such as the Peter Pan ride. There are also newer rides like the transition from Splash Mountain to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. What they're doing in Magic Kingdom right now is getting ready to shut down Tom Sawyer Island and the Liberty Bell boat, and they're going to pave over the whole Rivers of America and make it into Cars Land, which they already have at Disneyland. And then there's going to be, I think there's going to be a Villains thing too.
Yes. I honestly think Cars Land is a good idea. I think it's kind of stupid that Disneyland has one and we don't.
Yeah, it speaks to the little boys so much.
Yeah.
And they need their areas of the park too.
And I get that like Liberty Square and Tom Sawyer stuff is like nostalgic also and interesting, but probably not to the point where a lot of people are checking it out these days.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the riverboat is pretty and it's nice in Liberty Square. It's a good addition to that. I get people being upset about that being like paved over because it is like an actual beautiful piece of nature kind of, but it is, man-made.
I was going to say, is it nature? Because it's in Florida.
It just looks natural, but it's got a track in there and like, okay, it's not actually
Animal
natural.
Kingdom's for the nature.
Yeah. But, Cars has been such a big thing for so long, and they have so many movies now, and
makes sense.
There's a lot of fun little kid rides that'll go in there. So sometimes you just got to grow and change. And I'm all for the change from Splash Mountain to Tiana. It definitely updates the ride in a way that kids actually know the characters. Like even I was a little kid going on that ride, Splash Mountain, and had no idea who Briar Rabbit was.
Sure.
And
that's
would never show my kid that movie these days.
Like the ride is exactly. There's a lot of controversial stuff around that anyway.
Yeah.
But the ride itself is still the same.
Yeah.
Like if there had been an opportunity to take the Snow White ride and give it new characters, I would be like, oh, but I would be like, okay, cool, we still get to do the fun ride. But now it's a hall where you meet princesses. They didn't even replace it with a ride. Put the princesses somewhere else.
We want our dark ride back. The roller coaster is cool, but it's not the same. We want the dark ride back.
Did you know that the Snow White ride we rode wasn't even the original one?
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting to find out because the ending for the original Snow White ride is super dark.
Scary.
And you should check that out sometime. You can definitely find everything that we're telling you throughout this month. You can find on the internet. So definitely look up the OG Snow White ride.
Because I want to watch it again.
I feel like the one that we went through was scary enough because
Yeah.
it was a dark ride, and you still had to go through the scary woods and
It was very
encounter
focused
the
on
hat.
the witch's story part of it,
Yes.
like her transforming and
Yes, the only
making the apple. and
happy
all that.
part was literally the ending.
Yeah.
So, yeah. To find out that there was a darker ending, I was like, oh my gosh. So Magic Kingdom is about 43 square miles by itself, which is the same size as San Francisco, basically. And originally, tickets to enter only cost $3.50.
God, I
Would
wish.
that it still did.
Oh, they need to have a throwback year where it's like a big anniversary year and they do ticket prices from back then.
Yeah, and they can like limit the attendance, and like if you're lucky enough to get one, you're lucky enough to get one, or do a
Yeah.
lottery system, or like a lot of things. I'm gonna bring up Japan again.
I don't know.
A lot of things in Japan are on a lottery system. So if there's like a really popular show or whatever, they're like, if you get that lucky number where you get to buy a ticket, cool. Otherwise, sorry.
Sorry, suckers.
When you got in for that $3.50, you then had to buy tickets as well. But a book of 7 tickets was only $4.50. So that's like what? $8 per person. You get to go into Disney. You get to ride all the rides. I'm assuming too that like it was extra to buy food and things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Part
but
of
it
it
was
too,
a cool
but-
looking little flip ticket book.
Yeah. And this is a fun fact. So if you own tickets from back in the past that were never used, they still honor them.
Yep, they will let you use them.
And a lot of people, like if they have them, it's more valuable to them as a collector's item, which is fair. But people have been asking, like, hey, can I use this old ticket that we never used when I was a kid? And they're like, absolutely, yes, you can.
Mm-hmm.
So if you run across one,
Kind of cool.
kind of cool. So I didn't know if
I wonder if they would let you use it and keep it. So then you could use
that
it
was
and
what
then
I was
like sell it or
wondering
whatever.
too. So while Disneyland features the Sleeping Beauty Castle, the Magic Kingdom has Cinderella's castle. So
Which is way better and
doing
bigger.
it too.
So suck it. Suck it, Disneyland.
I'll tell you what though, bucket list item would be staying in that Cinderella suite.
Oh my god, yeah. When I watch
I need to be
people that get
rich.
to stay there, it is the coolest thing on the
Yep.
planet. I'm like, oh, if any man could give me the Cinderella suite for a night, I'd marry you in a heartbeat.
You heard it here, folks. And we just need one night.
Just
One night to say that we did it.
Yeah. Do you know you can order pizza up there? And they will bring you a Domino's pizza.
Why? Only Domino's?
Mm-hmm. And I think it's funny because they have a restaurant or two in the park that make pizza, like flatbread pizzas.
I
But
was
when the
assuming you meant
chick
like
ordered
room
it in room
service.
service. It came up and it was a Domino's pizza.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. They're just like, hey, Domino's. Wow. So this was another park that Walt was unfortunately unable to see before his death, but Roy took over and got it finished.
He did walk through the park though. It wasn't done. It wasn't
Yeah.
completed, but he walked through it. A lot of Disneyland people are like, come to Disneyland where Walt actually walked. He walked in the Magic Kingdom, y'all.
And wasn't the whole idea of the Cinderella suite a place for him and his wife to stay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they have that room above the Main Street area in Disneyland.
Yeah.
They have a whole little like suite up there. And you can actually get tours up there in Disneyland if you want to.
Is that part of the VIP tours?
It's one of them, yeah. I just don't know which one.
Gotcha. That's kind of cool.
But yeah, you could see where they lived. And they even, one guy I watched who has this podcast, they let him go and like sit on the toilet with the lid closed, but fully clothed. But he got to like sit on the toilet that Walt sat on.
I sat on the same toilet. Oh my gosh. What a claim.
What a claim.
Oh man. And I'm sure we're all familiar with the Utilidors. Everyone's heard about the secret tunnels that cast and crew members use.
Secret.
So secret. So the employees and the VIP guests will use it to move throughout the park. But what you might not know is that those are not underground tunnels. Those are technically built on ground level. And Magic Kingdom is on the second story. So like ground level is actually the tunnels. We are all walking on a second story basically because of the way that Florida's terrain is with the swamps and everything.
Yeah.
So that's really,
Pretty cool.
really interesting because you never think about it that way. You just think you're walking in
Mm-hmm.
on the ground floor.
And I want to say I've heard this fact online before that you're never more than 73 steps away or so many steps away from a trash can. And some guy actually like counted steps and found out that it was right. Like no matter where he turned, if he walked
That's crazy.
that number of steps, he hit another trash can.
I did put that
So
later
funny.
on. Not the
Oh, did you?
not
Okay.
the specific steps, but
It's funny.
yeah.
Disney World has a few different main areas in the Magic Kingdom. So we've got the Main
Yes.
Street USA, which is that original street you walk down right when you come in with all the cool shops
Yeah.
and all the interesting places where you can get like the flavored popcorn and their little confectionery. Oh my God. So amazing. Starbucks.
Yes.
I mean,
like the little Rice Krispie Mickey Mouse heads. So simple, but the best treat there.
And they count as snack credits if you do the dining plan. So if you get to the end of your trip and you haven't used all your snack credits, what I like to do is go in and buy a bunch of the Rice Krispie things because they travel well on the plane.
And they're huge.
Yeah, they're huge. The kids love them. And then you can kind of like stretch your trip out a little bit when you're at home.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Main Street USA, Adventureland, Frontierland, Liberty Square, Fantasyland, and Tomorrowland. Each has its own themed attractions, shows, and dining. And now the long-awaited villain-themed land will finally become a reality as well. We are so excited.
This is something I heard about through Defunct Land, because apparently a while back it had been under consideration. I'm thinking like
Yeah.
the 90s.
They
or
had the
something.
artwork and everything, like
Yeah.
what they wanted it to be. It just never came to fruition.
And when they announced it, I was like, yes.
This is something that's been brought up in the past a lot
Mhm.
and was decided against, but an announcement was recently made that they are finally going to have one.
I'm only sad that it won't be done in time for our trip. Guess
I
I'm gonna have to go
know.
again.
But we're going to see Tron for the first time and Tiana's
True.
Bayou Adventure for the first time, both in Magic Kingdom. And I think
Yeah.
some of you guys haven't seen the new stuff, like the Guardians at Epcot.
Right.
And
We didn't do Guardians. So is Guardians still a
they just dropped
Virtual
the virtual queue.
for Guardians?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can
Because
still
I knew
do
they
that.
did it for the other
Go
two.
online and buy the Lightning Lane thing.
Yeah.
It'll be available for that, but the virtual queue will be gone.
That's what holds us back from a few rides. With my large family size, I do not often pay extra for things. So we had
that's
not
a
done
per person fee. When you got 6 people, that adds up fast.
So we had not done Guardians. We have not done Tron. Tron was being constructed still, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we saw them building it, but it wasn't
It
operational.
wasn't ready. Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll be able to do everything they removed the virtual queue for. But like Epcot, there were a lot of different areas considered for Magic Kingdom as well.
Mhm.
One of them being St. Louis.
Oh my God, I would have died.
Can we bring Walt Disney back from the grave and be like, what were
What
you
did
thinking?
you do?
Do you know how much more often we could go if you had put it in St. Louis?
Even if you wanted to split it up and put Magic Kingdom in St. Louis and Epcot in Orlando,
we'd have survived.
We could have just gone to the Magic Kingdom all the time. I would have been perfectly happy with
Yeah,
that.
because that's the most nostalgic park anyway.
Right?
But they also thought about New York, New Orleans, a few other places. But of course, the climate in Orlando won out again. And as a result, we now have all 4 theme parks along with their different resorts, shopping, dining areas. All of it's very close to each other. So when you do go visit, you can go to multiple places in one trip.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish it was in St. Louis.
We would have suffered and dealt with it, Walt.
We would have taken the hardship.
It's Roy. No, Roy's dead too. I can't complain to anybody of consequence.
Walt did a lot to maintain the integrity of the park's condition. Chewing gum is not sold in the parks anywhere. You can find a trash can nearby at any point as you walk through the park.
As we mentioned earlier.
Of course, each park also has cast members that walk around sweeping up any trash on the ground too.
Mm-hmm.
And they also do other cool things like use the water from their mops and leaves on the ground
I
to
recently
make
saw
artwork and
this.
stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I
And
saw that
they're-
online and I was like, what?
Yeah. There's a lot of cool online kind of stuff you can find on YouTube about that where you watch them do different things. And there's some that were like, will use their trash cans as drums and they're like musicians and stuff. So
Nice.
the janitorial staff at Disney is never just janitorial staff.
That's the thing too. Like everyone who works at Disney is so talented
So
and
talented.
creative. Like every single
All my favorite YouTube
position
creators
is
used to be
special.
cast members.
Yeah. I love that. That's so awesome.
It's very cool.
What's your favorite parts about the Magic Kingdom?
Well, of course, I'm
Everything.
a princess kind of gal. So Fantasyland is one of my favorite areas.
Mhm.
Now that they do story time with Belle, she's my favorite Disney princess. I just love that you can walk around and feel like you're in the middle of the fairy tale.
Yeah, it's
It's
the
pretty
theming
cool.
is amazing too.
And the Rapunzel bathrooms, they're the best.
Yes.
They're the best.
They are so good.
And the picture of Ari and Ellie when they were little holding the lantern in front
I'm
of
so
there
glad we
is,
got
my
that done.
favorite. Yeah. I had just kind of barely heard about it online, and we just happened to be walking through as the line started.
We were like, hold up, isn't this the time where you can go do this?
I saw the photographer and I was like, what is a Magic Pass photographer doing here? And then I was like, oh, this might be the lantern picture. And I asked him, and it was. And somebody was in the bathroom. We were just standing around waiting. Was it you?
Yeah.
And so Mom and I got in the line, and the girls, her daughter and my daughter, had matching sweatshirts on.
Mhm.
And so we got pictures of them with the lantern, you know, as the sun was setting. Oh, it's beautiful.
You know what would be fun is if we can recreate it this time and then
That would
like
be
have
fun.
like a double picture of like the younger and the older.
That would be awesome.
So we were talking about the smells being pumped in earlier, and
Mhm.
like the vanilla smell is what you think about,
Mhm.
but they also do special smells around the Haunted Mansion that are more musky,
Mhm.
and there was something else.
And the Pirates
Oh,
of the Caribbean has their
the
own.
salt.
Yeah.
The salt air, so you feel like you're by the ocean. I'm like, that's so
It's
cool
pretty
that
cool.
they do that.
And now people will go online and sell candles that are like scented like the rides and stuff. And that's pretty fun. That's pretty fun.
That would make it so much worse, though.
And they use the scent.
I want to go. I smell Disney.
You're not wrong. They use the scent boxes on the cruise ships too. So like people say that especially
know
the
that.
Wish, especially the Wish has like its own scent.
Yeah.
And you can find that easily in certain, I think, is it like the Method soap at Target or something? You can find it online, but people find that's scent.
Hilarious.
But I was watching Kyle Palos, one of my favorite Disney vloggers, and he went on the cruise ship recently with his girlfriend, and they actually show you the scent box down on the ground, like what it looks like and stuff. So
Interesting.
yeah, it's cool.
What's your favorite ride? I know it's hard at Disney.
It's very hard.
I called it Disney again. See? It's hard at the Magic Kingdom.
It's what you think of when you think of Disney.
I know.
You immediately think of the Magic Kingdom.
I always have to hit up Peter Pan and Small World.
Yeah. Small World is one of my favorites because it's my mom's favorite, because it was my grandma's favorite.
True.
So there's a whole
Like a whole
generational
thing.
level of nostalgia going there.
Yeah.
But you can't go to Magic Kingdom and not ride that.
Right.
It's just wrong. It's just wrong.
And if you don't do it, you're wrong.
Would it be annoying to get stuck on it and hear that song for a long time? Sure. But I don't find it as obnoxious as other people do, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think it's cute. All the little dolls. But we had a grandma who collected dolls from around the world.
Yeah. And I have some of them still.
Yeah.
A couple of them have.
That's why it was her favorite ride, I guess.
Fallen apart.
Well, you know.
Yeah. Time
They made it through
ruins us
a few
all.
generations.
And a few moves. But yeah.
I don't
like
know.
that one.
Favorite ride? That's a hard one.
I know.
I love the Haunted
Snow
Mansion
White.
just because my daughter loves
Haunted
it.
Mansion was good.
And it never really stood out to me as like one of the best rides until she got like really obsessed with all things spooky. And then it became one of our favorite rides because she just loved Constance Hatchaway.
Yeah.
And she has, I should have worn those ears. She has Haunted Mansion ears that have
Oh, does she?
Constance on one side and the bride and groom on the other. Well, they're getting rid of her. So
Why?
it's a long story, but originally Disneyland was
I
the
don't.
original Haunted Mansion, and there was a bride storyline, but it wasn't
Yeah.
Constance Hatchaway. It was just a bride with a heart that throbbed and beat.
Yeah.
And they brought her back at Disneyland a couple months ago in place of Constance, and so they're probably going to do that at Disney World
So it's
too.
like a continuity thing.
Yeah, it's a continuity
Okay.
thing.
Gotcha.
So a lot of people have the nostalgia for Constance because that's the storyline they know, but there was a original storyline before that.
Mhm.
So they're going back to the original, which I get, but I didn't know anything about the bride's name or storyline until Ari was so into it and a cast member told us the story while we were standing in line at the Halloween party. And it was pretty dang cool. I don't know if the original storyline one had a name or if it's just
Yeah.
the ghost bride.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's like more see through, and there's like a red beating heart
Yeah.
in there. So
Those
it's
are
pretty
great.
cool looking. I mean, she breaks the other hearts, I guess.
Well, as always, thanks for joining us. You can find us on all social media as Working Moms Wine. We have workingmomswine.com, patreon.com/workingmomswine, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
I can't open it. It's so fancy, and I can't open it. I don't know why I pointed it that way. The camera's right there. God, I'm so nervous.
Point it that way.
Yeah. Absolutely, I will. We'll put a hole in the wall of my new house.
At least I'll have a story behind it.
I hate these.
Do you want me to do it?
Oh, I'll man up. I took my blood pressure medication today.
The magic team. Blah, blah, blah.